Hey everybody, I'm here with a quick story on Stephen A. Smith and his encounter with LeBron James. He is now saying that that encounter was BS. Listen, I could see it from several different angles, and I do see when someone talks about your kid, you getting upset. But I also understand that when you are in the entertainment world, whether that means you're a professional basketball, football player, soccer player, baseball, whatever, or you simply are an R&B artist or a hip hop star, you're gonna have to get used to people talking about you. Is part of the game. It's part of what you do. Now, let me go ahead and share a screen. So Stephen A. Smith, LeBron James' confrontation was BS. He said it was weak. That's not what he said initially. He said initially he totally understood that LeBron James came to him as a father. But let's hear what he has to say. Let's take a listen.
Confronting you in the aftermath of that situation?
I thought it was weak. I thought it was some bullshit. But in the moment, I knew that I was listening to a father. Here's what happened. I'm sitting courtside, and I stand up, and then I got my head turned. And then I turned back around, and a lot of people thought this was the end of the game or something like that. This was in the third quarter. Apparently, LeBron had walked out of the timeout, and I turned around, and he's right here in my face. He said, yo, you got to stop talking shit about my son. You got to stop fucking with my son. That's my son. That's my son. And I was like, what? He said, nah, fuck that. I said, yo, let's talk later. He's like, fuck that. Nah, fuck that. You got to stop fucking with my son. And I said, all right, though. And he walked off. So I remember during a timeout in the first quarter, seeing Bronny. And Bronny looked over at me. And he had this sad look on his face. And I'm imagining Pop saw that shit. It hit him. Yeah. And he couldn't hold it, and he rolled up on me. And so when I went on the air the next morning, first things first, believe it or not, I know this is shocking for people to believe, but I didn't have any intentions on talking about it until I woke up that morning and saw that the shit had gone viral. Once the shit had gone viral, the bosses at ESPN, now you got to talk about it. So this is you and him. You got to talk about it. I said, fine. So I go on the air and I said, the first thing that I'm going to do is establish that this was a father talking to me, not a player. And that was what threw me off. And I was glad, even though I thought that he misrepresented the argument, I was glad he did. Because you see, what he was really talking about, which was confirmed with his conversation with Richard Jefferson, is that I was talking about him as a father. And so what happens is that had he said that to me, then I wouldn't have been thrown off. I'd have came right back at him. Yes, I was. I was talking about you. You did this shit, which I'll get to in a second. But because he didn't do that, I said, fine, you let it go. Mind you, I just agreed to my contract. Courtside. That day was when it was announced. It's all over, everywhere. Watch, I be right? Yeah. It's a nationally televised game. The cameras are rolling. And I'm like, if I do anything, this is going to be a scene. Now, we can sit up here in front all we want to and act like we don't work for somebody. Damn it, I work for Walt Disney. And if I had gotten into some shit with him at courtside right there at that moment, no matter how right I would have been, it would have been wrong. And I was like, I'm not going to do this. But once I saw the tape of him talking to Richard Jefferson Saturday night in Boston, that was when I got really pissed because that was confirmation.
I will say this. For sure, you have to be mindful of your job at all times. You know, there's a NYPD cop who was in a video and kind of became a video vixen, and she was in this special, like a special victims unit, and they removed her off her cases because of what she, you know, did in said video. You always have to be mindful, whether you're on the clock or off the clock, what you're doing and how it may impact your job. So Stephen A. Smith isn't done talking about his feud with LeBron James just yet. He continued on Tuesday to share his side of last week's confrontation with the Lakers superstar, calling the whole ordeal weak and BS. The ESPN commentator chopped it up with Gilbert in Gil's Arena, where he was asked about the run-in with James during the Lakers' March 6th tilt against the Knicks. And in case you've been under a rock or you just not a sports person and didn't see it, you're not going to hear anything because a fan actually caught this and posted it to social media. But you do just see LeBron James standing there kind of in Stephen A. Smith's face, and Stephen told us what was said. While he wished James didn't handle the situation publicly, he said he knew he wasn't talking to LeBron, the player, but LeBron, the father. He said, "You gotta stop talking S about my son. You gotta stop effing with my son. That's my son. That's my son," Smith said. I said, "Yo, let's talk later." He was like, "Nah, F that. You gotta stop effing with my son." And I said, "All right, though." The 57-year-old then recalled making eye contact with Bronny during the first quarter, who had a sad look on his face. He believes his pops saw that, which led to LeBron confronting him. Smith said he had no intention of discussing on deal on his show the following day, but once it had gone viral, the powers that be told him he had to talk about it. And I get it. And then, you know, Dwayne Wade pretty much said he would have confronted Stephen A. Smith too. He would have did the same. We'll take a listen as soon as this ad passed. While people have debated who is in the right, you can count on Dwayne Wade on the side of his former teammate. He told TMC Sports he would have done the exact same thing James did. The four-time NBA champion has yet to comment on the situation. Let's take a listen.
Mr. Wade, how are you? So, you know, we got to ask you. I know you know, you're a father. How do you feel about LeBron's beef with Stephen A. Smith? What do you think about that? Can they resolve it? I mean, as a parent, how do you feel about that?
I love both guys. I love both guys. I had a conversation with Stephen A. about it, and I told him I was Brown. I'd have walked up on him the same way. But also, too, man, you know, it's all about it. This is all love and sports.
So I know you're tight with LeBron, right? He has his own statue in Miami. Does he deserve one with the Heat too? And, you know, has he said anything about how much longer he's going to play?
He deserved one right here in New York in front of the NBA offices. He's one of the GOATs. He deserved one of them.
Do you know how long LeBron might continue to play? Like, has he had that conversation with you? So wait, last question. You know, we got to ask you, how have the DMs been about the 50-50 conversation? Gab got on air and was like, listen, we're not doing that no more. Have you been getting like DMs? Has she gotten DMs from people chiming in? I know it's like,
I don't get DMs. I don't get DMs. I don't even check my DMs.
I know that's right. You don't check DMs. I guess that's a good way to be, right? We love that. Thank you so much for your time. You look fantastic. Ciao.
You know, I love when these paparazzi or photographers or the people from the different stations like catch up with them. He's a nice looking guy. I never really paid attention like that close up. Him and Gabrielle Union, a cute couple. And I get it. Most parents, we want to defend and protect our kids, but when your kids get in certain professions, you do have to, you know, have a talk with them, you know, to say, listen, I don't like what he said. I think what he said about you is wrong, but what you need to do is prove him wrong. Kind of like the Beyonce method. And I'm not trying to say one parent is perfect over the other. We all, you know, go through our stuff and make our mistakes. But when Beyonce brought Blue Ivy on tour with her, and the people, when she first started dancing, the people were dragging Blue Ivy for filth. Of course, Tina Knowles said something because Tina Knowles stay in the street, but Beyonce and Blue Ivy said nothing. And, you know, as the tour went on, Blue Ivy just got better and better and better and better. And I think that's how you show the haters. That's how you show the people that are talking about you. You move in silence and you get better in silence. Listen, guys, chat with me in the comments. And when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. If you are a subscriber, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on Stephen A. Smith saying, you know what, LeBron James, what he did was weak. And he called it BS. Okay. Do you have a change of heart now, or do you still have your same stance as when it originally happened? You know, that you understand why LeBron James did what he did, or do you understand Stephen A. Smith's side? He's a commentator. He's going to talk about people. I think it's unfair that if you are a commentator and everybody's okay with you talking about person A, B, C, or D, but they're like, no, Diva is off limits. No, if Diva's in the game, why is Diva off limits and nobody else's child is off limits? Why can you talk about everybody else's child, but you can't talk about Divas? We got to talk about that. But anyway, guys, chat with me. I'll chat back. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.